I, female 30, have a bad relationship with my brother, Tom. They call him Tommy, 34. He's disabled, blind, and his condition has always been used as an excuse for how he treated me growing up. My parents always said he's struggling, and I should be sympathetic to his circumstances, but he has anonymously, been admitted it, called CPS on me. I have a preteen daughter. He did it after I refused to pay for one of his surgeries from my grandfather's inheritance money. I instead used the money for my daughter's private education. She has a learning disability, and public schools here were awful in how they treated her. And on the divorce with my ex-husband, who cheated on me, and now I have an open file with CPS, despite being cleared of all accusation. I kept my distance and am now engaged to my fiancé of 3 years, and just had my baby boy. I'm on good terms with most of my family. They visited my son many times and started trying to talk me into letting Tom visit to meet my son. I refused and made it clear, but they kept pushing. Yesterday, my parents came to visit, and when I opened the door, I was shocked to see they had brought Tom with them. He was sitting in the car waiting. I snapped and asked my parents why they brought him, and they started begging, saying Tom deserves some grace and understanding due to his circumstances, and that he longed to meet his nephew. I was so upset I was caught off guard like that. In response, I said, "No, he's not allowed to meet my son after everything he's done. It's not like he could see him anyway." Tom heard that, and my parents gasped. They started arguing with me after Tom started crying. My fiancé joined the argument and tried to break it. He told me to go inside and he talked to my parents and they left. It was horrible. The whole family found out and started shaming me for mocking Tom's disability and making him feel hurt to the point of crying. My parents are livid with me, calling me all sorts of unhinged names and demanding that I apologize. And my fiancé said he understood my anger, but what I said was unacceptable. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He called CPS on you over money? Time to drop your parents if they're so adamant about making you let their golden child meet your son. For anyone coming after you, tell them to screw off because he had done irreversible damage to you. Open CPS case? Just because he threw a tantrum when you refused. I spat my water when she said that it's not like he can see them anyway. Sorry if that makes me an idiot, but damn, I'd never recover from that one. Dude knows he messed up. Insults are fair game in my opinion on anyone trying to separate a good parent from a child for no other reason than a false sense of entitlement. I'm visually impaired, and I thought that was a well-deserved comeback for this situation. If Tom's disability is his resource to manipulate situations, then it's open game to use it as a boundary. He called CPS once, and I wouldn't put it past him to do it again. Protect your family, OP, and cut all contact with the whole family. And has he ever apologized to OP for calling CPS? Did he let CPS know there was no issue? I wouldn't even be in his presence until these two things were done. What have the parents done to force the brother to be better? I would give the parents a long time out. Considering she still has an open CPS case, I assume he never did call to say he falsely reported as a revenge tactic. Considering that's a crime, and he would have had to face the consequences for his actions. I wouldn't put it past the brother to come up with a new false claim and revenge now. Oh, OP, what a comment you threw at him. Rude much? Sure, well-deserved? Absolutely. If Tom were concerned you were neglecting your daughter, he would have told your parents about it, and a course of action. Heck, maybe even talked to you directly. But calling CPS? Just because he didn't get money? Nah, sis, that man deserves no place in your kids' lives. As a mom, your direct family consists of your kids and your partner, and you protect them at all costs. Good on you for not giving in. This is going to sound so ridiculous, but here goes. I'm a 29-year-old female getting married to Terrence, 30 male. We've been together 8 years and are very much in love and perfect for each other in all ways. Our wedding is scheduled for September, and wedding planning has been going great. The only argument we've had over it is the subject of this post. Since Terrence and I met and started dating during our college production of Moulin Rouge a musical. When we got engaged, I immediately suggested that our first dance be to Come What May, the romantic duet between the two main characters. It perfectly encapsulates our relationship and how much we love each other. We're both huge fans of the musical, and when I suggested it to Terrence, he loved the idea. However, Terrence recently came to me to tell me that his friend Ian, also 30 male, offered him $3,000 to prank me during our first dance by switching out Come What May for God's Plan by Drake. Specifically, Come What May would play for around 30 seconds, and then it would switch to the part where Drake says, "She says, do you love me? I tell her only partly. I only love my bed and my mama. I'm sorry," which I think is really tasteless for the first dance at a wedding. Ian works at a high-paying corporate job and also gets an allowance from his rich parents, and his sense of humor is mean, so it makes sense he would offer something like that. Ian also told Terrence not to tell me, but Terrence wanted to tell me anyway because he felt I deserved to know. I thanked him for telling me and started talking about how to confront Ian, but Terrence got sort of quiet, and when I asked him what was wrong, he said we should consider doing it, and I would just pretend I had no idea. He said that $3,000 could help pay for our honeymoon, and we could invest it. I was angry that he'd even consider doing it because it would be A, humiliating, and B, Come What May has meaning to both of us, and I want our wedding to be about us, not Ian's stupid prank. Terrence begged me to at least consider it because it would just be one moment of our wedding, but I said that I wanted our wedding to be a celebration of our love, not as a ploy to get money. Terrence then got quiet, told me he wanted alone time and went to our room. I texted my brothers for advice, and both said they understood where I was coming from, but that I was being unreasonable and a bridezilla to not even consider it since $3,000 is a lot of money. I'm starting to think I might be an idiot because I guess our first dance isn't the most important thing in the grand scheme of life, and $3,000 would really help us out. But on the other hand, I just don't want one of the happiest days of our lives to be soured by a dumb prank. So, am I the idiot for not wanting the first dance to be ruined? No, not the idiot at all. Some things aren't worth the money, especially when it's degrading or could ruin an important moment. This does both. I think it would be funny if you were both into it and made it into a joke first dance, but even suggesting it as a prank on the bride is just vicious. You should be in on every joke or prank planned for your wedding day. I'm just trying to picture what this would look like if OP's fiance did this without telling her. Holy cringe! What, are you supposed to stand there in shock while the groom mouths the lyrics and dances alone? All for the prank of basically confessing he doesn't love you in front of all your friends and family. Your fiance's friend spends too much time on TikTok and has forgotten that moments last longer than 60 seconds and things can get very uncomfortable quickly. That friend is trash for suggesting that song as a prank. I don't agree with the idea of the prank at all, but there are other silly songs that he could have chosen but still upheld the love you and your fiance have. The fact that he picked a degrading one is inappropriate and shows what kind of person he is. I bet he wouldn't even pay up if your fiance went through with it. He would pull the, "It was just a joke, I never thought you'd do it." There's no guarantee he would keep his word. What's worse is this man is 30. That's nearly a decade past frat bro mentality. So what happens the next time Ian dangles money in front of your fiance's face for a prank? $3K at the wedding to tell her you don't love her in front of all her family and friends? $6K to cheat on her at the bachelor party? $10K to break up with her on social media by getting fake divorce papers? When do the pranks from this bully stop? And are there any limits to them? When will your fiance grow a spine and possibly grab his balls from Ian's wallet and stand up for you? I'm a 20-year-old female, and my fiance is a 23-year-old male. We bought a 90s car that needed some work. He got it fixed and he started driving me places in it. When I would ask or show I wanted to drive it, he got very upset about it. I never got to drive it, but his friends have. We ended up splitting up for a minute over it. I recently put a down payment on a 2022 Toyota Tacoma double cab. I went with my uncle to get it, and when I signed for it, I put it in my name, and my uncle co-signed for it. When I pulled in with it, he came outside smiling from ear to ear. He hugged me and thanked me for getting him his dream truck. I was trying to explain to him it was mine, but he had already jumped into it. He then saw the paperwork and asked if he needed to sign it. Before I could answer, he read whose name was on it. He slowly got out and went into the house. He didn't speak to me for the rest of the night. While I was at work, he texted me and said, "It's really disrespectful that you got my dream truck and didn't put it in my name. I'll be staying at my mom's tonight." I didn't respond. Later on, he sent me a pic of a GMC, asking if it was pretty. I said, "I don't like GMCs, but if he liked it, it's pretty." He said, "Well, doesn't matter. You got the Toyota." So I just left him on red. He has yet to come home, and I'm regretting getting the truck. So, am I the idiot? Edit. I forgot that my uncle co-signed because I don't have any credit yet. Where I got the truck, you have to have credit. My uncle has some great credit, so he was willing to sign. I saved up $4,000 to put down and get a loan. My uncle didn't mind doing it because I make roughly $1.2K every month. Plus, I have savings my grandpa put away for me. My grandpa said I could use it to pay for the car. I don't know how much is in it, but my grandpa said it could get me through life without worrying for a year or so. Not the idiot. I mean, who assumes you bought them a car? Get rid of them. Just because you're together doesn't mean things should be in your names. I'm married and my wife's car is in her name, and mine is in my name. It's okay to have things that you alone have ownership of. I wonder if he was banking an OP, not wanting to cause trouble and letting him have it, then letting her drive the old car. It makes the most sense to me. OP, why are you letting this happen? Why are you not standing up for yourself with this man? Why are you regretting buying a vehicle that you like? I really hate to be one of those people telling a stranger to end their relationship, but please reconsider marriage with this man. At the very least, postpone the wedding, if there's a date set already, and see about getting counseling, individual or maybe as a couple. Note, if he is abusive, then don't get couple counseling. Your fiancé sounds entitled, but what's a red flag for me is that he's being dominant and you're adopting a very submissive position. Why did you never get to drive the van you contributed to buy? He got upset, and that was it? You gave in? He allowed other people to drive your van but not you, and he got away with it? It's clear he doesn't respect you and thinks he can bulldoze you to get whatever he wants. If you marry him, this will only escalate. Keep the truck, lose the man. Some information before I get into the conflict. I, 25 female, am a former professional gymnast. I retired last year and now coach other aspiring gymnasts. Unfortunately, like many in my profession, I had to retire at this age range due to the strain of the sport, and I'm no longer my most flexible. I've been dating my boyfriend, 29, for 10 months. Unlike me, he isn't in the sports industry. He's a programmer. We went to a party tonight at his friend's house, and this was a good way for him to introduce me to everyone all at once, though I've met a couple of them. Most of them were really nice, and I got along with them, but a few got gross when they learned of my profession, and I'm sure many of you can guess the comments that followed. Speculation on my flexibility, our bedroom activity, etc. I was very uncomfortable with this, but my boyfriend just laughed along with them. I told them I was not too fond of that kind of talk, and it degraded my sport how people always jump to that. My boyfriend told me to relax, and they just meant it as a joke. And it continued until I told my boyfriend I was going home and left upset. He tried to stop me, but I told him his friends could enjoy their speculation with me gone. It's now nearly 1 a.m., and I'm at home upset and feeling crappy about the whole thing. My boyfriend has been texting me, saying I overreacted, how I embarrassed him, and how I should expect those kinds of comments. I usually have a thicker skin about this stuff. I've heard it all before. People often harass girls and women who are gymnasts, but I was stressed about meeting his friends and making a good impression, and then ambushed by this, so it got under my skin more than it usually would. I'm ignoring his text and not replying as I don't feel in a good frame of mind not to snap further. Should I have just accepted it and not stormed off? maybe tried to lead the conversation elsewhere. I feel bad for embarrassing him in front of his friends, but I was embarrassed at first. I wanted them to take me seriously as his girlfriend, not make me the joke of nasty speculation. Not the idiot. Boyfriends should have supported you, even if it was a simple, okay, knock it off, guys, or something. Instead, he laughed right along with them and got upset when you left after being what appears to be harassed by his friends. You're absolutely within your right to bite his head off for his behavior. You did nothing wrong, OP. You stood up to them, and he told you to let it go right in front of them? But of course they were going to continue. So he was basically telling them that it was okay to disrespect you. You are the company you keep. If a bunch of his friends are creepy chauvinists, chances are he is too. Honestly, him telling you that you should expect these comments shows how little he thinks of you. Respectful men would never think that you should expect to be harassed about your skills in the bedroom or degraded because you were a high-level athlete. Good men would be proud of your athletic skills and never put you down that way. You should not expect these comments from mature people. You deserve better than him. My 23 female, sister 32, and I were the product of an affair. Our father didn't want us around and our mom wasn't fit to take care of 2 kids. So my aunt took us in and gave us a better life than our mom would have given us. Along the way, my sister started to act out. First, she started stealing money from our aunt, and eventually, it got to the point where when I was 16, she and her boyfriend robbed us. My aunt stopped making excuses for her and disowned her. My sister constantly harassed my aunt by posting things about her on Facebook and spray painting her car or her and her friends egging it. This went on until my aunt died about 2 months later because of cancer. She didn't even care about her or anything like that, but asked if she was in the will, and if so, how much was left. I told her no, and that she didn't leave any money for anyone in the will. But I actually got a large amount of money. One of my cousins told her about the money, and she immediately jumped to asking for 50% of it because it was supposed to be hers. I told her no, and that she wasn't entitled to anything after how she treated my aunt, even after finding out about her cancer. Some family members are pushing me to give her a portion of it because she's my sister, and she meant just as much to my aunt. If my aunt were here, I know she'd call BS. My sister made the last years of her life stressful and tiring. Not the idiot. Nope, give her nothing. She is just an entitled brat, and if your aunt wanted her to have some of her money, she would have left her some. She deserves nothing. Make sure every penny is safely put away so that your sister can't steal it, maybe in various stocks, funds, bonds, or something. Your aunt didn't have to have a reason to cut your sister out, though obviously she had an excellent reason. Sister did not mean as much to OP's aunt as OP. Otherwise, that would probably have been reflected in the will. If anyone brings it up again, say she had her share early when she stole from my aunt. It may or may not shut them up, but it would be worth saying anyway. It would be disrespectful to your aunt for you to give your sister money. Your aunt did what she wanted to do. It's not the business of these family members as to whether or not you give them your money. However, if they're so worried about it, they can give your sister money. Your sister reaped what she sowed. Please don't give her a dime or she'll always be coming back for more.